Obituaries presented by Curtis & Son Funeral Home, the North Chapel on Highway 21 in Sylacauga, the Childersburg Chapel on Highway 280 in Childersburg. 256-245-4361, your Dignity Memorial Funeral Home for burials and cremations. And pre-need is Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg. Funeral service for Miss Tucker Cheyenne Darwin, age 18 of Wagufka, will be Saturday at 2 p.m. from Curtis & Son North, with the Reverend Joe Shook and Michael Snyder officiating. Burial in the Evergreen Cemetery. Visitation Saturday morning, 10:30 a.m. until 2 p.m. Miss Darwin died November 29th, UAB in Birmingham. Online condolences at curtisondsonfh.com. Tucker was a senior at Central Acusa County High School. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing that service. Funeral service for Allison J. Morris, age 85 of Sylacauga, is Saturday at 2 p.m. from the chapel of Radley Smith Funeral Home. The Reverends Tommy Thornton, along with Reverend Ariel Morris and Brother Terry Mitchell officiating. Burial in the Macedonia Cemetery. Mrs. Morris died Wednesday, November 30th at Coosa Valley Medical Center. She was retired from the State of Alabama Department of Corrections. She was a Wagufka alumni and Secretary and Treasurer of the Stewartville Fire Department for some 25 years. The station will be tonight from 6 until 8 o'clock at Radley Smith. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleysmith.com. Radley Smith Funeral Home, Sylacauga directing. Funeral service for Willa Dean Melton Lewis, age 74, is this morning at 11 a.m. from First United Methodist Church in Sylacauga, with the Reverend James Haskins officiating. Burial in the Evergreen Cemetery. Mrs. Lewis died Wednesday at Coosa Valley Medical Center. Online condolences and contributions can be sent to the First United Methodist Church of Sylacauga, or contribution can be also sent to the Care House. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleysmith.com. Ms. Lewis was a longtime member of the First United Methodist Church, some 60 years. She was a 1960 graduate of Sylacauga High School, where she was a majorette and cheerleader. She was a member of the Red Hat Society and Sylacauga's Marble Festival Committee. She was survived by her husband of 56 years, Coach Earl Lewis. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleysmith.com. Radley Smith Funeral Home directing. Funeral service for Ralph Harold Hubbard, age 82, is Saturday at 11 o'clock from Sylacauga's First Baptist Church, with Dr. Larry Morrison officiating. Burial in the Hephzibah Cemetery. The family receiving friends tonight, 6 until 8, at Ursery Funeral Home in Talladega. Online condolences at urseryfuneralhome.com. Ursery Funeral Home, Talladega directing. Mrs. Sylvia June Stevens died November 27th at the age of 76. A memorial service will be held today at Ursery Funeral Home Chapel in Talladega, beginning at 2 p.m. Ursery Funeral Home, Talladega, directing. Graveside service for Brookline Denise Turner, age 3 months, will be today at 11:30 from Pine Hill Cemetery in Talladega, with the Reverend Dr. Jerry Jones officiating. Brookline died November 25th in Anniston. Anniston Funeral Service directing. Funeral service for Mrs. Estine Bradford, age 89, is Saturday, December 3rd at Mount Olive Baptist Church in Harpersville, beginning at 11 a.m. Burial in the Harpersville Memorial Cemetery. Visitation today, noon until 8 at the funeral home. The body will lie in state at the church 1 hour prior to the service. Mrs. Bradford died November 28th at a residence in Harpersville, Community Funeral Home, Sylacauga, directing. Graveside service for Don Carroll will be 11 o'clock today at Pine Hill Memorial Park, with Reverend Cal McIntyre officiating. Mr. Carroll passed away Thursday, November 30th at his residence. He was owner and operator of Carroll's Welding and a lifelong resident of Talladega. He was a member and deacon of the Southside Baptist Church and taught Sunday school class at Talladega FCI. Online condolences at ursharyfuneralhome.com. In lieu of flowers, donations can be made to the Gideons International, P.O. Box 14080, Nashville, Tennessee. Online condolences at ursharyfuneralhome.com, Ursary Funeral Home directing. Funeral service for Siobhan Lakeisha Green, age 39, is Saturday at 1 p.m. from Pine Grove Baptist Church, with the Reverend J. Stafford Rouser Jr. officiating. Interment in the Pine Grove Cemetery. Miss Green died November 25th. The body will lie in state at the church 1 hour prior to the service. Anniston Funeral Service directing. Funeral service for Sarah Ann Jacobs, age 84, is today at 11 a.m. from Talladega Funeral Home, with the Reverends Lee Frost and Tim Cole officiating. Burial in the Wewoka Cemetery in Talladega. Mrs. Jacobs died November the 30th at her residence. Mrs. Jacobs was the oldest original member of Harvest Life Church in Talladega. Online condolences at TalladagaFuneralHomeInc.com, Talladega Funeral Home directing. Funeral service for Mr. James E. O'Neill, age 78, is Saturday, December 3rd at Coosa Valley Baptist Church in Vincent at 2:30. Burial in the Coosa Valley Cemetery of Vincent. The station today, noon until 8 p.m. at the funeral home, and the body will lie in state at the church 1 hour prior to the service on Saturday. Mr. O'Neill died November 26 in Sylacauga Community Funeral Home, Sylacauga directing. And funeral service for Mrs. Beatrice Story, age 92, will be Saturday, December 3rd at 1 p.m. from Union Springs Baptist Church, with Pastor E.L. Jacobs officiating. Interment in the church cemetery. Sims Funeral Service, Talladega directing. And funeral service for Mr. Murray E. Twyman, age 58, will be Saturday, December 3rd at St. Campbell Baptist Church in Alpine at 1 p.m. Burial in the St. Campbell Cemetery of Alpine. Visitation today, noon until 8 at the funeral home. The body will lie in state at the church 1 hour prior to the service. Mr. Twyman died November 25th at Brookwood Medical Center, Community Funeral Home in Sylacauga, in charge of the arrangements. This obituary report brought to you by Curtis & Son Funeral Home, the North Chapel on Highway 21 in Sylacauga, and the Childersburg Chapel on Highway 280 in Childersburg. Your Dignity Memorial Funeral Home for burials and cremations. 256-245-4361. Curtis & Son Funeral Home for pre-need, burials, or cremation. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg.